Okay, so first of all, I just want to say this game is like beautiful. The art is just amazing. Like the animations are super smooth. Like I love the arenas. I love the crowd. The even the present, this the overall presentation, like the ring announcer and stuff like that. The actual like play-by-play announcers, not really good or bad. You know, they're good for what they do. It's essentially an arcade game since this is the sequel to WrestleFest, and it pretty much gives you that. You know, I love that all of the characters are really unique. They have all of their own move sets. Like you can sit there and just like be a blue meanie main, and know all of his moves and nobody else's. And like just overall, it's fun. You know, it's a great game. Like it brought me way back to you know the arcades in the late 80s, early 90s. It's a good time. With that being said, of course, I just so the only problem I have with this game is the grapple system itself, which is kind of important, because it's a wrestling game and you have to grapple. Um, while I won't say that I rate it as low as Wrestling Empire, there's times where it does feel like I'm just looking at wrestling characters inside of a wrestling ring doing wrestling moves, but I'm kind of just doing stuff doesn't arbitrarily to make that happen. I was a couple hours into the game playing, and it just felt like I was not in control of a lot of things that was happening. And I was like, well, it's new, let me go like try to learn what the controls are. Looking around, there's not a whole lot of information out on the game because it literally just came out, so there's not a lot of people talking about it. And I did find this interview from the developer from a while back.
So we did keep that randomness that WrestleFest had in instances. And one of the big reasons we added that is because I got to a point where my 15-year-old son, or now 16, kept beating me because he got the timing down and I didn't. So I needed a way but what we found was, it was funny and he was loving it, but it wasn't fun for other people to play against him. You know what I mean? If he could win the grapple every time, because we had that similar Fire Pro style grapple timing. But now we have it where one, it's a slider, so you can get how precise you actually want that mechanic to be. But we also just added a randomness to it. So it's not as predictable. It's not purely talent based.
And to be completely honest, if I saw that beforehand, I probably would have skipped this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, just because I don't like that there's a part of the game where I can't control something, and it just feels like I'm not playing. Like there's a lot of different ways you could have tackled that issue if you so-called did an issue, but personally I just don't believe that that was the right way to do it. Like first and foremost, like I don't like the word fun when people say, or developers in particular say, hey, we made this game with fun in mind, because fun is a subjective term. It does not apply to every single person that is involved in the activity. Like some people think stamp collecting is fun. Do you think stamp collecting is fun? I don't think it's fun, but it's fun to them. That's fine. I don't think they shouldn't have fun. But you can't sell me a game about stamp collecting and tell me that it's fun for everyone when it's really not. And it's not even about things being skill based. I just don't like that there's things not in my control. Like I can't control that. So you know what I did, because I did want to make sure I actually played through the at least the 10 pounds of gold mode, because I wanted to try that. What I did was I would just knock people down and then just ground grapple their legs, because you can't reverse that anyway. So I would just knock them down and ground grapple their legs until they had no health, and then I would pin them. And that's how I enjoy this game, quote unquote enjoy, because that's the only way I can play it and have control over the things that I'm doing. It's like, we could have added a counter system. We could have added like even like a rock paper scissors system. It didn't even have to make sense. It'd be like, all right, well, the timing every time you press a heavy button, and I can press a light button. I can just counter the moves that you're doing. So now there's at least some back and forth. Now it's just really random. you get a grapple. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you get Irish whipped or, you know, dropped on your neck even though you won the tie up or whatever. And it really doesn't make sense to me. So, you know, that part I obviously have a problem with. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Outside of that, it's great. You know, is it something that I would play with other people? Probably not. Just because of the fact that, you know, just the way that system works, I just don't enjoy it. Because it's not, you know, losing doesn't bother me. But losing because of question marks, that does bother me. You know, when you play a game against another person and somebody has to win, the better person should win. The game shouldn't decide who wins. But that's just how I see things. But anyway, would I tell you to buy it? Definitely. If you just want to play a great arcade wrestling game, if you miss WrestleFest, if you want to play something you can just pick up and play, you should definitely buy it. It's 24. I think it's 24 $25.99 on Steam for a limited time. Then it'll go up to $29.99, I believe. So it's definitely worth checking out at least. And well, how would I rank it? I'll probably give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars because it's amazing for what it is. This is not what I was looking for. Well, I play it probably between things. I get really bored, but you know, it's not a bad game. It's just, as you know, a big flaw in my opinion. But you know, until next time, hopefully they update this game so I can enjoy it like everybody else. Like, yo, give me that slider in the game. Let me set my own settings so that I can, you know, either add or remove the randomness altogether. Like, if I could play like Fire Pro, I'd love it. It'd be the perfect game. But that's not what we got. But, you know, until next time, jokers, I'm gonna have to catch y'all later.